Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this Tuesday, November 17th, 2020 meeting of the Rotary Club of Gainesville. Welcome to all of you here at the Wyndham Garden Hotel, and also those of you watching online via Zoom. We welcome you. My name is Tom Collette, your Sergeant at Arms. Before we get underway with our program, just a reminder for those of you who may be watching this after the fact to have a makeup. If you're watching on YouTube, you need to register your participation watching by sending an email to info@rotarygainesville.org. We begin now with a joke, a song, and the pledge because Pete Enwall is back, everybody. Let's welcome him to the stage.
I'm really gratified to hear what I say as a joke, so that's wonderful. And it's great to see so many people here. That's also great. I have a question for you, though. Do you know why nuns wear those black and white things and they've worn them for centuries? Does anybody know the answer to that? Old habits are hard to break. We're going to sing America the Beautiful. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Join me in pledging allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pete. Please remain standing via Zoom. In just a moment, we'll have our invocation from Louis Vidal.
It's good to see all those faces again. Let's have a word of prayer. What a refreshing day it is today as the temperature drops and lifts our spirits through your beautiful creation. For this beautiful day, we are grateful. And we are grateful for the opportunity to meet as a service club committed to impact our community. We ask you to refresh our spirits today as we find ourselves on the eve of the holiday season. Give us the creativity and commitment to celebrate with our families and friends in such a way that will enable us to be safe and secure while still experiencing the needed time with those that we dearly love and care for. This will be a unique holiday experience for the first time for all of us in the midst of a pandemic. We continue in our prayers for those in need physically and for those who are serving as caregivers. We pray specifically for the development of an effective vaccine that can protect us all and open up our community, country, and world to greater freedoms of movement. With a spirit of hopefulness, we pray in your name. Amen.
Right on cue, you knew when to sit. We thank you. Now, if you are a Rotarian here today with a guest, please stand, you and your guest. Don Bugos has the wireless mic. Please identify yourself as our fellow Rotarian and your guest today. Go ahead, in the back.
Hello, I'm Craig Carter. My guest today is Michelle Emery, Dr. Michelle Emery with Gainesville Primary Care Direct, screwed it all up, Direct Primary Care. Michelle's been a family friend for many years, many more years than she is old. Dear friend of mine, and her husband's missionary. So you would like to get to know him, and hopefully Michelle comes and joins us much more often.
Greetings, fellow Rotarians. My name is Charles Allen. My guest today is Don Nussmeier. Don is a member of the Rotary Club of Lake Oswego, which is way up in Portland, Oregon area of the country. And he is a Paul Harris Fellow at the Arch Clump Society level. Great to have him here today visiting.
Fellow Rotarians, I'm Buddy Irby. I'm certainly happy to have as my guest here today, Carol Kalivoda. As I'm sure many of you know Carol over the years, and her youngest son, Mark. Mark's here from Peru, and he's trying to get back to Peru, but as you know, they're having some troubles down there, so he'll hopefully fly back on Saturday, but he was able to come visit us today. So we're so happy to have Carol and Mark with us today.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a couple of announcements before we get into our program today. First, we have from the Greater Gainesville Club, I beg your pardon, Jan Bendick.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for inviting me. It's wonderful to be here with you. My name is Jan Bendick, the president of the Greater Gainesville Rotary Club, and I'd like to announce an event this weekend, which is going to be great. It's going to be November the 21st on Saturday. It's going to be our Ride to End Polio. We do it every year. It's going to happen at Gainesville Health and Fitness at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And you can join us in person if you like, or also join us virtually. I have also forwarded to Matt look in your chat box and you'll have the Eventbrite link. And if you join us, certainly we'd love to have you there. And certainly you will get credit, the club will get credit, and the district. And of course, we're working to end polio. So it's going to be a wonderful event. I hope to see you all there. Thank you.
And yet one more announcement. This time, please welcome to the podium, David Gracie.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Matthew. I know we've got a very important program today when we're going to honor, I think most of us would agree, our most esteemed award. So I'm just going to take a second, but this is also important. We've been working on planning what we're going to do for our holiday party this year. You guys know we have this every year. We have typically our holiday luncheon. We're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to have it over at the Cade Museum. And so in the interest of properly planning this, we're going to be sending out a survey to find out just kind of an interest level of who's going to be attending live. Hopefully everyone that feels safe will try to attend live. If not, we want to know if you're going to attend via Zoom virtually. So there's a group of us working on a program, and we've got some neat things planned, some nice food, some entertainment. So please consider joining us. We think we're going to have a really nice time out at the Cade. So thanks. And please, important thing, please look for that email survey and please respond. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David. And now we turn the meeting over to your president, the esteemed Matthew Brady.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I was missing some cheering section last week. Good to have you back, David. Feel like I need some, like some hype music or something, but great group today. Good to see so many here today. Honored to see each and every one of you here. It is an important day. Just a couple quick remarks. Saturday, we had a great day serving the community. There were 11 Rotarians. We were able to be joined by Kelly Costomo of the school board and the principal at Terwilliger, Ashley Zeller. These are overachieving people in our school system, and they're out there first thing Saturday morning working and helping too. I think Ashley, the principal, her family and their business, she had about a 3-hour nap Friday night after working a second job, and she was out there Saturday helping work right there and organize and do things. So Rotarians that were there, thank you, Tony Barr, Steve Dalton, from the Rotaract, Beautiful Eden, and Wes and Marcia Eubank, Helen Gilstrom, Ryan Krenzer, Parker Lawrence, Greg Young, and Deborah Newell. And they even let me do a few things. So thank you all. I'm going to send out some pics and so you can share and enjoy those if you have not seen some already on Facebook. So I'll send those out via email. and you can look at them. Last week, thank you, Craig Carter. Despite everything going on, we actually had 9 people go out to donate blood. So that's a great testament to this club. I mean, if you look at that as a percentage of how many people were here, that's a tremendous turnout. So thank you all for that commitment to do that despite everything going on. One other announcement you may have seen last week in your email from Rotary International, they sent out the 2020 Member Census. So it's like about a 5-10 minute survey or something. It is very valuable to Rotary. I think every year we can say is important, but them having Rotary International having feedback during these times would be very beneficial, that they could try to share with groups of all sizes and all across the world as to what's going on. So look for that email, dig in your inbox, spam, whatever, if you can, spare a few minutes and do that. But without further ado, I'm going to ask immediate past President Chad Keene to come forward with a very special presentation. Thank you.
Please keep it down. Too much. Thanks for nothing, David. So today, like David mentioned earlier, is one of the most significant awards that our club gives out, and it is the E.T. and Vam York Service Above Self Award. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the award before we get into this year's recipient. Excuse me. To express their appreciation for the support provided by Alachua County Rotarians during E.T. York's tenure as District 6970 governor, the late Dr. E.T. York and his wife, Vam, provided an endowment to fund in perpetuity the Rotary Club of Gainesville Service Above Self Award. In 2010, the award was renamed after its benefactors. Presented annually, this distinguished award symbolizes Rotary's commitment to service and the desire of the Rotary Club of Gainesville to encourage and recognize service to others in our community. The award takes its name from the Rotary motto, service above self. The recipient every year will be an individual or organization from the Gainesville or Alachua County area that has rendered outstanding, dedicated, and unselfish service to enhance the quality of life of the citizens and the youth in our area. The award is based on achievement during any appropriate time span, a year or a lifetime. The award may be made in the memory of an individual. The award itself is a $1,000 gift to the Rotary Foundation for support of international scholarships in honor of the recipient, designation of the recipient as a Paul Harris Fellow, a special plaque with the name and date of the recognition, and the inscription of the recipient's name on a permanent plaque containing all the names of all previous recipients. And the plaque is displayed prominently at the Gainesville Airport. This year's recipient was well known for his service in our community. A list of boards, organizations, and causes that he managed to work into his life included the Corner Drug Store, the Reichert House, Citizens Crime Commission of Alachua County, Gainesville Chamber Orchestra, Community Crime and Fire Prevention Committee, Friends of Five, Alachua County Girls Club, Spotlight on Youth Program, Girls Place, Pop Warner Football. He was a court-appointed guardian for Takachali resident, the Rotary Club of Gainesville, the Fisher House, the Florida Bar Citizens Advisory Committee, the Martin Luther King Commission of Florida, the NAACP, Boy Scouts of America, and Holy Faith Catholic Church. That's not all of them, that's many of them. In the true spirit of service above self, this year's recipient worked behind the scenes promoting good causes and good political candidates. A review of the organizations and causes that I just went over tells the story of an involved citizen who worked and volunteered in many different venues and who just wanted to make our community a better place. He had a big heart, and his actions far exceeded his words. He made active participation in his community a way of life. He was one of the most involved people in our community. He was a leader, and he was a doer. At Rotary, at church, or community projects, you knew he was likely to be there. He was also proud of being an Eagle Scout, and his life exemplified the Scout laws that he learned as a youth. The words trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent were the guideposts that he lived by. This year's recipient received lived a life of service. His name will be on the Rotary Service Above Self plaque so that everyone who stops to read about the Service Above Self Award will know that the award represents and recognizes the type of person that he was. This year's Service Above Self recipient is Louis Kalivoda. Please, yes. Joining us today, as Buddy Irby mentioned, is his wife Carol and his son Mark. You all are welcome to come up. I have a little bit more I'd like to say, but you're welcome to come up, Buddy, as well, please. Upon meeting Louis for the first time, you all can sit down if you want. This might be more than 1 minute. You almost certainly noticed his infectious smile and that explosive laugh that seemed to rumble from deep down in his stomach. With a sparkle in his eye, he would deliver his joyful trademark greeting. Hi, I'm Louis. What's your name? This in a distinguished baritone voice that seemed to be made for radio, which Louis cultivated early in life to help overcome a stutter. Louis was known and loved for his warm humor, generosity of spirit, and his unshakable loyalty to family, friends, faith, community, and country. Louis was born on May 28, 1949, and grew up in Palatka. He was an outstanding athlete and a fierce competitor. He was captain of the Palatka High School football team and never missed a game. He was a moving train wreck, recalls one of his childhood friends. He was an Eagle Scout, an Order of the Arrow holder. Louis continued to work with the Boy Scouts in various volunteer capacities throughout his life. His two sons also achieved Eagle Scout honors under Louis's encouragement and tutelage. He was awarded Scouting Silver Beaver to honor registered scouters of exceptional character who have provided distinguished service. When Louis was 11, he watched the inauguration of John F. Kennedy on television and began to develop a lifelong interest in politics and government. At the age of 15, Louis traveled to Washington, D.C. as a congressional page. Later, he volunteered to work for Representative Billy Matthews' re-election campaign, the first of many candidates he'd support. He was North Central Florida coordinator for presidential candidate Walter Mondale, and over the course of many years, he managed many campaigns. While a congressional page, Louis attended the inauguration of Lyndon Johnson, an experience that helped propel him into a lifetime of civil rights activism. Louis would later become a board member of the Martin Luther King Jr. Commission of Florida, and in 2013, he was inducted into their Hall of Fame. Louis was vice president of the student body at St. John's River Community College before going to UF. He earned a bachelor's degree in political science. He stayed in Gainesville, worked in a number of different careers, first as a paramedic, the Alachua County Fire Rescue Department, then a special assistant to the district manager, and later HR director for the city of Gainesville. In '86, he began a long career at Santa Fe College. Over the course of his time at Santa Fe, Louis was an instructor, a counselor, a lobbyist, and an assistant to the president. I'll get it. It's probably for me anyway. As coordinator for Santa Fe's Institute for Criminal Justice, he was instrumental in obtaining land and funding to build the college's police academy. He was incredibly loyal as an employee, a colleague, and a friend, recalls former Santa Fe president Larry Tyree. He was an optimist who managed to almost always see the glasses half full. I loved his positive attitude and observed it on many occasions. Louis retired from Santa Fe in 2018 as the Santa Fe College Assistant Director with oversight of the law enforcement, emergency medical services, and aviation programs. Despite his devotion to family, career, and politics, Louis always made time in his life to give back to his community. A longtime blood donor, Louis is remembered by Life South for having given 137 donations for a total of 17 gallons. That meant nothing to me when I first learned that, but your body, my body, has about 1.5 gallons of blood in it. He donated 17 gallons. It's incredible. In 1990, the Gainesville Sun selected Louis for its Community Service Award for having performed the most outstanding and unselfish service of the year. I've been over many of the boards and organizations that Louis was a part of. Since his retirement, Louis volunteered countless hours at the Fisher House, the home away from home for families of patients at the VA hospital. And even as he struggled with his illness, he continued to serve on the Florida Bar Citizens Advisory Committee, in which capacity he advised the organization on how to counsel attorneys with alcohol or substance abuse problems. He should be remembered as a generous soul who volunteered for any cause he felt worthy. Volunteering for Louis meant sacrifice of his time and interest. He deflected credit and praise and was more than generous, giving credit to others. An inveterate outdoorsman, Louis loved to camp and hike, was a founding member of the Shining Rock Orienteering Society. He led his fellow backpackers on expeditions to the Rockies, the Smokies, New Hampshire, Mount Washington, the Blue Ridge Mountains, and along many segments of the Appalachian Trail. In his younger days, Louis was also a pilot and a skydiver. Louis was a devoted Catholic, an altar server as a child. He was lector at both St. Augustine Parish and Holy Faith. He served on the finance committee of St. Augustine for more than 20 years. And I have just a couple of things that other folks have said about Louis. You simply could have had no better or greater friend than Louis. People would sometimes misunderstand him because they didn't think anyone could really be so warm, kind, caring, and generous. He was authentically all that and so much more. The world would be a better place if we could all be as generous and caring as Louis. So I'm proud to announce this year's 2020 ET and VAM York Service Above Self Award. The recipient is Louis Kalivoda. And Carol and Mark, if you would like to say something. You don't have to if you're not comfortable, but you're welcome to if you'd like to.
I'll start by thanking everyone for giving this wonderful award to my husband. Louis was a fine gentleman, and he loved his community. He was proud of all the volunteers activities he did. Gainesville meant a lot to him. He liked being a Rotarian. He was very proud to be a part of this organization that did so much for our community. So he will definitely be missed by his family, his friends, and the community.
Thank you, Chad. Thank you, Carol, for being here. And Mark, the thought, the sound, the sight of Louis will make you smile. It would make you smile, and it still will, and it still does make me smile. As a young Rotarian, Louis made me feel special anytime I saw him. Throughout fun and fellowships, he was the loud, resounding, exciting voice that filled the room. He always was, and he had a smile, and he made everybody feel special. And I couldn't think of a better person today that we could honor with this award. And, I've been able to know his family through those fun and fellowships, and it's just an honor to have you here and still be a part of this Rotary family, because we will continue to think and pray for your family, and you're welcome to be a part of us and here anytime in the future. So thank you very much for sharing Louis with us. Louis truly, it is service above self. And because he was committed to this club and he was committed to service, I think he would be truly excited over the fact today that we have the opportunity to now transition into welcoming a new member into this club. He would be the first in that big boisterous voice to be excited and happy. So at this time, I'm going to ask Cooper McCormick and Richard Allen to please come forward. There you go. Got them standing point out here in front, so I think they're nervous about me standing behind them. But with us, we have new member Cooper McCormick and his sponsor, Richard Allen. Fellow Rotarians, as president of the Rotary Club of Gainesville, it's my privilege and pleasure to formally induct and welcome a new member into our service organization. The person who stands before us today has indicated their willingness, interest, and determination to help enhance the quality of life in our shared community, state, nation, and world. Through their involvement in the Rotary Club of Gainesville, and by extension, their involvement in Rotary International, they will have this opportunity. I now ask all Rotarians in this room to show support of this new member by standing. The object of Rotary is to encourage and foster the ideal of service as a basis of worthy enterprise. The Rotary Club of Gainesville has been serving this community continuously since 1918. By coming before us today, you have shown your commitment to helping continue the work of Rotary. And this was important that I stayed with the script today, showing your commitment to the community by embracing the ideal of putting service above self. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you as a member of the Rotary Club of Gainesville. I encourage you to become a very active Rotarian and to become fully involved in the service and fellowship activities of this organization. I now present you with a Rotary pin and Rotary membership certificate. Congratulations and welcome to the Rotary Club of Gainesville. So slightly atypical, what I'm going to do is have Richard present this and introduce, and we're going to go straight into craft talk. Let's hear Cooper speak. We're going to induct him, put him in the hot seat, and go forth. So I'm going to bring Richard to the podium right now. Oh, maybe a song. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. Well, I think can everybody have a seat during the?
Yeah, absolutely. Please.
All right, and so. I just, I want to point out, I don't get any credit in this experience as his sponsor other than the honor of being his sponsor because, this has been a really challenging time for our club. I think we're doing a really good job of rising to that challenge. And gosh, the number of members that are able to come in person and the number of those that are online, that's great. We haven't had a lot of new members. I think that's going to change over the coming months, but I'm deeply grateful to Cooper for having come to us. He approached us. This is the ultimate act of being a Rotarian, wanting to be of service. And that grew from his background, and I'm sure he will share some of this in the, what is it, a 28-minute craft talk he has to do? In his craft talk, I'm sure that you'll hear a lot of this. But it was his father who inspired him to be a Rotarian. His father, Harvey, in Beaufort, South Carolina. He attended as a child many Rotary events, and that went on throughout his childhood as he grew up. And so when he moved to Gainesville, he was seeking out a Rotary club, and we are very grateful and honored that he chose us. So with that, I'm going to introduce Cooper to give his craft talk.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for having me. My name is Cooper McCormick. Okay.
You get the hourglass, all right?
All right. Make it quick. As Richard said, Rotary caught my interest with my father. I grew up, he would take me to meetings. My dad told me when he was new to a town, he went to Rotary, met everyone he needed to meet. And, it just took off with him being able to give back from that. So I really appreciate y'all taking me in with open arms. Like I said, I grew up in Beaufort, South Carolina. I played football and lacrosse. I was captain on both teams. And then I went to the Citadel, the military college of South Carolina in Charleston, South Carolina. During that time, I studied abroad in Barcelona, Spain. And from then on, I got back. I played lacrosse at the Citadel in college for 2 years until I studied abroad. And then I got into the sailing program. At the sailing program, I went to a sales competition in Florida and found the company that I'm now with called ThyssenKrupp Elevator. If you don't know how to pronounce it, because it's German and very difficult to pronounce, it's called ThyssenKrupp, like listen up. That I went into my job interview and I had no idea how to pronounce it. So yeah, that took some time. And so then from there, I got the job and I did 6 months of training down in Tampa, Florida. I was with my crews and everything like that, was on the construction side and loved it. From there, I moved to Jacksonville Beach, where I became an account manager doing service and repair. You may ask what that is. So the elevator gets sold. A lot of people don't realize after that, you have to legally have to have a service contract on it. So my job is to pretty much provide every commercial elevator with the service contract. And then after that, lightning damage repairs, I'm there for that as well. We are the only company with an office here in Gainesville, so that makes my job pretty easy. University of Florida is our biggest account, but we also have every other commercial elevator we can get. And so I'm happy to, be a part of this community. I've been here for about a year now, so I'm looking forward to really just growing with the community, giving back as much as possible, helping out with whatever I can help out. And I couldn't be any more thankful for y'all taking me in with open arms. Thank y'all.
Yeah, Cooper. Hey, look, you nailed it. Oh, that was perfect. That's great. I even delayed you and threw you off a little bit. So, what a great opportunity today. It is great to have you in the club. We provided the certificate to you, but also your 4-way test plaque. So here you go. You may want to put it in your office and not on an elevator though. So, but I'm going to ask you real quick and we're going to grab a picture real fast if you do not mind.
We were all smiling really good.
Yeah. We had a little commentary. Cooper's like, I guess it doesn't really matter if we're smiling or not here behind the mask. So funny story. I think it was Friday at lunch. I went into Sam's and Sarah, our wonderful server here, we're walking and it's amazing. We both laughed because across several aisles, we realized how well we're getting at identifying each other just from the eyes up. So it was immediate. Hey, how are you? So, and Cooper, listen up. I have an elevator in my building from you guys. So, thank you all for being here. It is a wonderful crowd. It is a special day. And I'm just, again, very honored that we were able to honor and recognize most deserving our dear friend and Rotarian, Louis Kalivoda, and his family. And just once again, I'd like for everybody to join me in a round of applause for his family and his legacy. As we move to next week, FBI and Gainesville cases. So that should be interesting. So anyways, I'm going to leave jokes aside. So Jason, I called Jason out of the corner of my eye and I started to say something, but I'll pass all, buddy. So before we adjourn, quote of the day. Thank you, Tom Collette. If we really want to love, if we really want to live, we must love until it hurts. No Rotarian whose motto is service above self, I think, should call himself a Rotarian if he does not make time to serve. If we love, we begin to serve. Mother Teresa. Have a great week, fellow Rotarians. God bless.